Let me tell you about a guy who did everything right. He was there for her every single time she needed someone. He made her laugh. He remembered the things she cared about. He genuinely, truly cared about her as a person, and she never said a word about how she felt. That guy was me. And the worst part? I didn't even realize what was happening until it was already over, until she had moved on, and I was sitting there thinking, what did I miss? What did I do wrong? The answer wasn't that I did something wrong. The answer was that I didn't understand how feelings actually work. I didn't understand what actually makes a girl feel safe enough to say the thing she's been holding back. And that's exactly what today is about. I'm going to walk you through 7 specific things that shift the dynamic between you and a girl completely. That she stops waiting, stops holding back, and starts telling you exactly how she feels. And I want to be clear about something before we start. None of this is manipulation. None of it is games. None of it is some psychological trick designed to mess with her head. It's just understanding how human feelings actually develop, and then working with that instead of against it. And number 3, I need you to stay for number 3, because your instinct is going to tell you it's completely wrong. It isn't. It's actually the most important one on this entire list. Let's get into it. Before we get into the ways, I need to answer the question that's probably already in your head. If she has feelings, why hasn't she just said it? And I get why that feels confusing. From where you're standing, it seems so simple. If you feel something, you say it. That's just how it works. But here's what most guys genuinely don't understand. She's not playing games with you. She's not stringing you along. She's not trying to make your life difficult. She's terrified. The more she actually likes you, the more terrified she gets. Because if she says it and you don't feel the same way, she doesn't just lose a potential relationship. She loses you. She loses the conversations, the dynamic, the way things feel right now between you two. And that risk feels enormous to her. So she waits. She hopes you'll say it first. She drops hints and pulls them back. She gets nervous and then overcompensates by acting completely normal. And meanwhile, you're sitting there thinking she doesn't feel anything. She does. She just needs to feel safe enough to say it. That's what these 7 ways are actually doing. Building that safety without her even realizing it's happening. Now I know what you're thinking, but I thought being there for her was a good thing. And it is. Being genuinely supportive matters. But there's a line between being present and being so constantly available that you become completely predictable. I used to do this. Early on, whenever a girl I liked texted me, I would reply almost immediately every single time. She'd post something, I'd comment. She'd mention she was bored, I'd offer to hang out. I was just always there. And what I didn't understand at the time was that I was making it too easy. There was no tension, no wondering, no moment where she had to sit with the question of, where is he? Is he thinking about me? When you are always available, you remove the space that feelings need to grow in. Think about it from your own experience. The people who have made the strongest impression on you in your life, were they always instantly accessible? Availability is a dial, not an on-off switch. You don't go cold, you don't ignore her. You just stop being the guy who drops everything the second she appears. You have a life. You have things going on. Sometimes you reply later. Sometimes you're genuinely busy. And that simple, natural space creates a pull she will feel in a way she can't quite explain. When she starts wondering where you are, she starts realizing how much she wants you there. Way number 2, and this one changed everything for me when I finally understood it. Make her feel understood, not impressed. Every single guy she has ever met has tried to impress her. Nice clothes, funny stories, achievements, things he owns, places he's been, things he can do. And she sat through all of it being perfectly polite while feeling absolutely nothing. Because here's what nobody tells you. Being impressive creates admiration. And admiration is nice, but admiration doesn't make someone fall for you. What makes someone fall for you is feeling like you actually see them, like you get them in a way that other people don't. Like talking to you is the only place where they don't have to perform or explain themselves. I remember sitting with a girl once, and instead of trying to be funny or interesting, I just listened, really listened. And when she finished talking, I said something back that showed I had actually understood not just what she said, but what she meant underneath what she said. She went quiet for a second, and then she said, "Nobody actually listens like that." That moment did more for how she felt about me than anything impressive I had ever done or said. So stop trying to be the most impressive person in the room. Be the person who makes her feel like the most interesting person in the room. That feeling of being genuinely understood is one of the most emotionally addictive experiences a human being can have, and she will attach that feeling directly to you. Okay, way number 3. This is the one I told you about at the start. I need you to hear me out completely before your instinct kicks in and tells you to dismiss this, because this is genuinely the most effective thing on this entire list. Here it is. Give her your complete, warm, undivided attention, and then return to your normal life. I can already feel some of you going, "That's it? That's the big counterintuitive one?" Stay with me. Most guys do one of two things. They either give a girl constant attention, always present, always engaged, always available, which we already talked about, or they try to play it cool and give almost no attention at all, which just makes them seem disinterested. What almost nobody does is the thing that actually works, which is being genuinely, completely, warmly present when you're there, and then simply going back to your life when you're not. I started doing this without even realizing it was a thing. There was a girl I was spending time with, and I genuinely had a lot going on in my life at the time. So when we were together, I was completely there, present, engaged, locked in. And then I'd go home and get back to my own stuff and not really think about texting her until it felt natural. She told me later that those weeks were the most confusing and exciting she'd ever felt about someone. Because when I was there, it felt like she was the only person in the world. And when I wasn't there, she couldn't figure out why she kept thinking about me. That contrast between complete presence and natural absence creates an emotional tension that her brain will try to resolve. And the way the brain resolves that tension is by leaning into the feeling, by moving toward it rather than away from it. I know it feels like a lot, but honestly, once you actually try this, once you stop white-knuckling the connection and just let it breathe, it becomes the most natural thing in the world, and she will feel it in a way she cannot ignore. Way number 4, and this one is probably the most practical thing I'm going to tell you today. Let her talk more than you talk. Not because you're boring, not because your life isn't interesting, but because of something incredibly simple about how human beings work. We fall for the people who make us feel interesting, not the people who are the most interesting themselves, the people who make us feel like we are. And the way you do that is so simple, it almost feels too easy. You ask questions that go one layer deeper than normal. Most guys ask, "How was your day?" She says, "Fine." Conversation stalls. He panics and starts talking about himself to fill the silence. Sound familiar? Here's the shift. Instead of asking how her day was, ask what the best moment and the worst moment of her day was. One question leads nowhere. The other one opens an actual conversation. Instead of asking what kind of music she likes, ask what song she puts on when she's in her feelings and doesn't want to talk to anyone. Instead of asking where she grew up, ask what she misses most about being a kid. These questions do something that surface-level conversation never does. They invite her to share something real, something she doesn't tell everyone. And the moment she starts sharing those things with you, two things happen simultaneously. She starts trusting you, and she starts feeling emotionally connected to you. And here's the thing about emotional connection. It doesn't feel like friendship to her. It feels like something else entirely, something she's going to want to put a name to eventually. Way number 5, and this one I learned the embarrassing way. Be honest about the small things. For a long time, I did what I think most guys do. I agreed with basically everything a girl I liked said. She'd mention a movie she loved, I'd say I loved it too. She'd suggest somewhere to eat, I'd say that sounds great. Whatever opinion she had, I'd find a way to echo it back to her. And I genuinely thought this was making her like me more. I thought, the more we agree on, the better, right? Wrong. Here's what actually happens when you agree with everything. She stops seeing you as a real person and starts seeing you as a reflection. And you cannot fall in love with a reflection. There's nothing to hold on to. But when you disagree, politely, warmly, genuinely, something shifts. When you say, I actually didn't love that movie. I thought the ending was lazy. Or, honestly, that place isn't my favorite. Can we try somewhere else? You become real to her. And real people are interesting. Real people have edges. Real people push back a little. I remember the first time I actually disagreed with a girl I liked. She said something I genuinely didn't agree with. And instead of nodding along like I always did, I just said, I actually see that completely differently. And I told her why. She looked at me for a second and I thought, okay, I've ruined this. She said, finally, an actual opinion. Small honesty builds a specific kind of trust that agreement never can. Because she knows that when you say you like something, you actually like it. When you say you're fine, you're actually fine. And when the moment comes and you tell her how you feel, she'll believe you. Because you've never given her a reason not to. Way number 6. And this one is my personal favorite. Build an inside world with her. You know that feeling when something happens and you and another person look at each other at the exact same moment? Because you both know. Because there's this thing between you that nobody else in the room would understand. That feeling is one of the most quietly powerful things that exists between two people. Inside jokes, shared references, a word that means something only to the two of you, a place you both went that has a story attached to it, a running thing that started from some completely random moment that you both still bring up months later. Every single one of these things is a thread, and the more threads you have, the more you're weaving something that feels completely irreplaceable to her. I had this with someone once. We had this running joke that started from the most stupid throwaway moment. I genuinely can't even explain it properly because it only made sense to us. But every time one of us referenced it, it felt like this little reminder of, this is ours. Nobody else has this. And here's why this matters so much for what we're actually talking about. When you build a world with someone, a private, specific, irreplaceable world, she becomes protective of it. She starts to feel like losing you wouldn't just mean losing a person. It would mean losing an entire world that only exists because of the two of you together. And when she reaches that point, when the idea of losing that world becomes unbearable, she will tell you how she feels before she ever risks letting it disappear. Way number 7. And this one is quieter than the others, but it might be the one that does the most work. Make her imagine a future with you without ever forcing it. Now, there's a version of this that completely backfires, and I want to address it first. Because some guys, when they like someone, start talking about the future in this heavy, loaded way. Where do you see this going? What are we? I really feel like we have something here. And she suddenly feels like she's in a job interview she didn't sign up for. That's not what this is. What this actually looks like is light, casual, almost throwaway. You'd actually love this place. We should go sometime. There's a festival happening in a few months. That's completely your vibe. Okay, we need to watch that together at some point. None of these sentences put pressure on her. None of them demand a response or a definition or a label. But every single one of them does something incredibly specific inside her brain. They make her picture it. And here's the thing about the human brain. When we picture something, we start wanting it. When we imagine ourselves somewhere or with someone, that imagined version starts to feel real. Starts to feel like something we'd actually like to have. When she starts building a future in her head that has you in it, she stops being able to imagine one that doesn't. And that's the moment she'll stop holding back. That's the moment she'll tell you everything she's been carrying around quietly for weeks. So let's talk about what actually happens when all 7 of these things are working together. Because it's not 7 separate things happening in isolation. When they combine, when she's experiencing all of this from one person at the same time, something shifts in a way that she genuinely cannot ignore. She starts noticing that she thinks about you differently than she thinks about other people. She starts paying attention to whether you've texted. She starts mentioning you to her friends, maybe without even meaning to. She starts finding reasons to bring you up in conversations that have nothing to do with you. And then one day, it might be a quiet moment or a random conversation, or just a look between you two that lasts a second too long. She just says it. Maybe not perfectly, maybe nervously. Maybe she laughs right after because she can't believe she actually said it out loud. But she says it. And none of it happened because you played a game or followed a script. It happened because you created a space where her feelings had room to grow, and room to breathe, and eventually room to be spoken out loud. That's what all 7 of these ways are actually doing. Not tricking her, not manipulating her, just making it safe enough for something real to happen. Look, I know this stuff sounds simple when you lay it out like this. And in a way, it is. But simple isn't the same as easy. Because most of this goes against every instinct you have when you actually like someone. Every instinct says, be there more, try harder, say something impressive, agree with everything she says, make her see how much you care. And what actually works is almost the opposite of all of that. It's being real, being present but not desperate, being warm but not suffocating, being honest even when it feels risky. That's the whole thing. If there's a girl in your life right now, someone you've been thinking about while watching this, just pick one of these 7 things. Start there. Not all 7 at once, just one. And pay attention to what shifts. Now, if you've been watching this and you're thinking, okay, I know what to do now, but I still can't tell whether she actually wants a relationship or if I'm just reading into things, I made a video specifically for that. It's called Every Sign She Wants a Relationship but is Too Scared to Say It.